Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 found footage horror film Entity Project, a film that is written and directed by Jandai Persem, who also appears in the film, as well as Stephanie Geiger, Sheila Harris, Carolina Levi and Valentina Ospina. Now, this film focuses on 5 or is it 6 I think they're aspiring actresses who want to do a documentary on a supposedly famous haunted house. So they end up renting this property, going there in the hope of discovering and doing a documentary on this place. As you could imagine, this is a found footage horror film. Things don't go particularly well for this group of girls, and the horrors begin to escalate. Right, what are my thoughts on Entity Project? Well, first things first, many of you watching this may be aware that I am a big fan of found footage films, so any opportunity I get to watch a found footage film, I'll take it, because I do think it's a really effective genre when done right. The question is Entity Project done right? And it's a resounding no from my perspective. What we have here is a bland, boring, by the numbers found footage film that offers nothing new to this genre and is basically I personally think a quite dull found footage film, if I'm being particularly honest. The setup's pretty boring. You get the usual, spiel at the beginning in writing saying, oh, this footage has been found and it's been put together by, I don't know, is it the Vatican or something? I don't know, I can't remember now. But someone's put this footage together as like a warning for everybody else. Of course you have. You've got to be a little bit more original than that now. That worked in 1999 for the Blair Witch Project. We're 20 plus years later now. You've got to be a little bit more inventive with how this footage is getting out there, and and then you get this setup of these girls. You get scenes of them prancing about in their underwear for some reason. I don't know why. Literally all of them are prancing around at one point in the front room in their bras and knickers. It just made no sense. To me it seemed degrading, but the writer and director is a woman. She obviously thought it was needed in the film. To me it was just a bit bizarre, if I'm being perfectly honest. And then you get the usual tropes. The cellar supposedly is where all these exorcisms took place, so they're going down filming in the cellar. There's all these ripped up bits of Bible on the floor. There's supposed curse objects everywhere. The lights don't work, and then the usual trope, one of them falls ill, gets progressively worse. A priest turns up and warns them off, almost begs and pleads with them to leave. Again, we've seen it all before. And then as the film goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse, and to the very, very predictable conclusion of the film. Now, I'm not going to be really cruel and say there was nothing here worth watching. There was a couple of moments that made you jump a little bit. A couple of moments that felt a little bit creepy. Some of the noises were okay, that they were hearing these demonic noises now and again. They were okay. Some of the demonic voices that were coming out of the girls were okay. That sort of thing. It was just ridiculous, and the dialogue was so dull. When she's interviewing the other girls at the house, about why they're there and their thoughts on this, that and the other, and one of them was religious and talking about God and religion, the Bible, and another one was it was just really dull dialogue, and you just didn't care about any of these characters because there was nothing to like about them, really. You just felt they were really stupid. to the point where there were things happening, clearly things were happening, and they weren't leaving. There was even a scene where, you know, things by this point had escalated really quite badly, and she's saying, right, we're going to go in the morning. I mean, why they didn't go then, I don't know, but right, that's it, I've had it now, we're going to go in the morning. And then guess what, morning comes and they don't go, and I think they're there for another 2 or 3 nights or something like that. And it was just, you just kind of like, it's idiotic, you know. Most people would have left long ago, and for a good found footage film, you need a reason to stay, and you need a reason to keep filming, and I never felt this film had any of that. Yes, I know they were filming a documentary, but many times there would be no reason to keep filming. Now, some intelligent found footage films have ways around that, because they've got like cameras at fixed positions in rooms and things like that, so you can get around that then, and you don't have to keep holding a camcorder, which no normal person would do in these stressful circumstances that these characters are in. But they don't do that, you know. It's just, they just carry on filming throughout all of this. So I have to say, this is, in my opinion, arguably one of the worst found footage films I've seen in recent years. Offers nothing new to the genre. The performances are okay, apart from the fact that some of them, English isn't their first language, so they're struggling with the dialogue occasionally. But I didn't have that much of a problem with many of the performances, even though they weren't brilliant or anything. I just had a problem with the film personally. I just thought it was dull, and felt really old-fashioned for this genre, and offered nothing. So it's a 3 out of 10 for me for this one. Very disappointing, and if you're a fan of found footage, I would suggest this is one to avoid. So that is my review for Entity Project. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and of course I will be back with more content on the channel very soon.